Hi, welcome to session 31 of our discussion of how the Frankfurt School governance model, sometimes called critical theory or critical inquiry, has become the dominant governance model in the United States. This session will wrap up our discussion with a summation of what we've talked about. Recall that I hypothesized that the critical theory governance model is comprised of four general tenets focused on the single goal of removing all oppression of all people. We first discussed the tenet that science is oppressive by describing four hypothetical higher order factors that are contributing to our increasing alignment with the Frankfurt School's rejection of science and scientists as oppressive. We concluded that we are aligning with this tenet first because existence appears nonlinear, which implies that simple linear models of existence always fall short. Second, we regularly conflate science with technology, engineering, and mathematics, specifically statistics, which compounds the distrust resulting from the apparent nonlinearity of life. Third, we reject science and scientists as oppressive because too much science is done for profit. Witness the tobacco industry, sugar industry, and the oil companies. And finally, too much policy and decision-making responsibility is in the hands of bureaucratic administrators who hold on to their scientist titles, creating the appearance that scientists and science are increasingly governing our lives without our ability to vote them out of office. We talked about the second tenet, the sweeping Frankfurt School view that moral, ethical, and virtuous standards of behavior are oppressive tools of those in power, by describing examples of how our current lives reflect that we have already rejected morality and virtues as oppressive. The virtues neglected by all the examples discussed are apparently seen as oppressions. But we need to have open and nuanced discussions of what is or is not moral. They are an important and necessary part of living in community. We should expect that groups within a community will have differences and will have to compromise. And we should expect that what we value in this regard will evolve as we gain understanding of the world around us and as that world changes. But that necessary and important evolution does not equate to the Frankfurt School's tenet that morals are inherently oppressive tools of those in power, or to our behavior aligned to that tenet. Thirdly, we discussed our increasing alignment with the tenet that organized religion is oppressive to the point where increasing parts of the population see organized religion as insufficiently controlled by our liberal rules for separation of church and state established in our Constitution. In our discussion, we focused on three hypothetical and overlapping causes for our rejection of organized religion. First, it happened in an overall environment of rejection of community. It happened because of contemporary jihad. The stratification of beliefs evidenced by the attacks by Muslim radicals on the United States on 9/11/2001, the reactions and the cascade of actions and reactions since those attacks have cast a shadow that has colored the attitudes of generations now of Americans toward all organized religious activities and events, irrespective of whether they are Muslim or Christian or Jewish. And third, it happened because of the rise of dispensationalism within American Protestantism, which gave a large swath of American Christians an excuse for withdrawing from their communities. Finally, we considered and discussed the top three reasons for our rejection of the press as oppressive. the growing sense that the press, particularly the mainstream press, is guilty of bias in all facets of its performance, exacerbated by the internet and the associated access to unfiltered and potentially evilly intended information that it provides. The distrust of elites that is growing in many parts of our population, with the mainstream press seen as part of the powerful elite segments, frequently believed to be trying to control our daily lives. And finally, our own polarization on issues of morality, science, and religion cause many of us to see the press through our own partisan and polarized lenses. I will have two recommendations as a result of this look into why we are aligned to the Frankfurt School governance model, and as a result, now governable only by an autocracy of one sort or another, during our next session. Aloha.